So next we are going to study about the Megasporangium. We have studied the Megasporophile, that is the carpel. In the carpel, the Megasporangium is there. Megasporangium, that is the megaspores are present. A sac-like structures where the megaspores are present. And these sac-like structures where the megaspores are present inside the flower, that is called as an ovule. So ovule, which is situated inside the ovary, is called as a Megasporangium. In the angiosperm, this ovule is called as a integumented Megasporangium. Integumented Megasporangium, because this is Megasporangium, because this is having the two coverings as shown in the diagram, that is the outer integuments and inner integuments. Actually the integuments are nothing but called as a coverings. So it is having the two coverings, that is called as a integumented Megasporangium. So Megasporangium having the covering, that is called as integumented Megasporangium. उसी को हम लोग बोलते हैं ovule. So in the ovule, the megaspores are going to be developed. In some flowers, the ovary contain only one ovule. This kind of ovary is called as a uniovulate one. Example है about the rice, wheat and the mango. Other examples, only one ovule is present inside the one ovary. And if that ovary contain the many ovules, that is called as a multi-ovulate kind of a ovary. Example is the tomato and the lady's finger. So many ovules are present. That is called as a multi-ovulate one. Multi-ovulate one. Next to this one, this is the type of the ovary depending upon the presence and depending upon the number of ovules. That is the uniovulate and multi-ovulate kind of ovary. Next, what is the position of the ovule? Ovule basically is situated inside the ovary. Ovary जो है, ovary में क्या रहता है? Ovule present रहता है. At the point of attachment, where consider this one is the ovary and this one is the ovule one. At the point of attachment is called as a placenta. Placenta, where this is the ovule, this one is the ovary. This point of attachment is called as a placenta. We have discussed about the position of the ovules inside the ovary, which is called as a placentation. We have seen the axial placentation, basal placentation, marginal placentation. So these are the parietal placentation. These are the kind of placentation. That is the different arrangement of ovules inside the placenta occurs. So here ovules are attached to the ovary via one region which is called as a placenta one. So they are attached via the placenta. As in the diagram, the placenta are mentioned. So placenta is basically a fibrous kind of a tissues which is present inside the ovary, that is the placenta. And if you are observing the structure of the ovule, it is the integumented Megasporangium. And here in the angiosperm, most of the ovules are called as a Anatropous ovule. Though it is having the two integuments, and it is also called as an Anatropous ovule. Ana means the opposite one. So here later we will discuss why it is called as a Anatropous. Just remember, it is the integumented Megasporangium, and the ovule type of the ovule is the Anatropous ovule. And 70% of the angiosperms are having this kind of ovules. That is the Anatropous ovule, where the micropylar end is upside down. Okay, upside down micropipe end is there. Later we will discuss what is the micropipe. The next thing, that is the ovule. Ovule मैंने बताया किस तरह से है, इंटीग्यूमेंट्स हैं इसके ऊपर, and it is the Anatropous kind of ovule जहाँ पे माइक्रोपाइल नीचे की साइड पे है. Next, ovule attach रहते हैं ovary से via the placenta one, and this ovary, this ovule is having the two parts. part is called as the stalk. The second part is called as a body. So stalk, जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं about the funicle as shown in the diagram. The funicle is nothing but the tube-like structure which helps in the attachment of the body of the ovule. So this is the body of the ovule. So here this one is the stalk and this one is the body of the ovule. So body of the ovule is attaches to the stalk-like portion. Stalk is attaches to the placenta. So it helps in a attachment of the body and the placenta via the stalk one. And here the point of attachment is present, which is called as a hilum one. As shown in the diagram, that is the hilum position is there above the funicle. Observe that diagram. Where the body is attaches. This is the actual body. The funicle से attach है, and this attachment is called as a hilum. This hilum attachment you observe, you can easily observe inside the seed. आप लोग कभी fruits खाए रहेंगे, fruits के अंदर जो seeds attach रहते हैं, they attaches to the one point inside the seed one, and this point of attachment is nothing but the hilum is there. So later, क्योंकि आगे जाके आपका जो ovule है डेवलप हो जाएगा in the seeds one, और ओवरी डेवलप हो जाएगी फ्रूट में. लेटर किससे अटैच रहते हैं? हाइलम से अटैच रहते हैं. सो दिस बॉडी इज अटैचेस टू द स्टॉक वाया द वन कॉमन पॉइंट विच इज कॉल्ड एज अ हाइलम. सो दिस इज द हाइलम पार्ट इज देयर. द नेक्स्ट थिंग इन दिस सेक्शन इज दैट वेयर दिस स्टॉक और प्लासेंटा, the sum of the placental part is going throughout the outer range of this body. Outer range of this body. This thick or the fleshy part is called as a raphe one. A-P-H-E. That is the raphe. Some extended part of the placenta goes over the upper or dorsal side of the body, which form the thick and fleshy part, which is called as a raphe. So these are the three basic parts you have to know. That is the stalk, body, hilum and raphe. Next we are moving towards the main body parts. The main body parts contain the outer integuments, inner integuments. इसके बाद आएगा about the nucellus. Nucellus के बाद आएगा about the embryo sac. And the last one is the chalaza one. So let us take the consideration of one by one. So first we have seen what is placenta. That is the attachment of the body and the stalk. Body और stalk एक दूसरे से attach हो रहे हैं, and that stalk is called as the funiculus. Stalk is called as a funiculus. इसके बाद हम लोगों ने देखा point of attachment, that is called as a hilum. Point of attachment is called as a hilum. कुछ part extend हो रहा है and they are forming outer side of this chalaza end, which is the part of funiculus, that is called as a raphe. Okay. Next to this one is the integuments part. The main ovule is having the integuments. What are the integuments? Integuments are of two types, and these are the coverings of the ovule. And basically we have the two integuments, that is the outer and inner integument is present. Outer and inner integuments. This cover the embryo sac. Observe in the diagram, this is covering the embryo sac. Two integuments are there, outer and inner integument. Later the development, basically अगर integument है protective, these integuments are protective in nature. It protects the embryo sac, and it is having the one opening which is called as a micropipe. Before going to the micropipe, let us discuss what is outer and inner integument. After the development, these outer and inner integument further get developed into the seed coat. The outer seed coat is the seed coat, which is called as a testa, and the inner seed coat is called as a tegmen. जब ओव्यूल क्या हो जाएगा, डेवलप हो जाएगा सीड्स में डेवलपमेंट के बाद, आउटर टेस्टा, आउटर इंटीग्यूमेंट डेवलप हो जाएगा आउटर सीड कोट में, जिसको हम लोग बोलेंगे टेस्टा। इनर इंटीग्यूमेंट डेवलप हो जाएगा इनर सीड कोट में, जिसको हम लोग बोलेंगे टेगमेन। सो बेसिक क्या करते हैं, ये फंक्शन देते हैं, प्रोटेक्टिव फंक्शन देते हैं किसको, एम्ब्रियो सैक को। एक्चुअल हमारे एम्ब्रियो सैक को यानी फीमेल गैमेटोफाइट को प्रोटेक्शन देंगे। नेक्स्ट ये क्या करेंगे, डेवलपमेंट के बाद सीड के कोट्स फॉर्म करेंगे। So this is the integuments are there, and these integuments are attaches to the one point. They are attaching on the one point at the body, base of the body, and that point is called as the chalaza one. It is the base point. You can observe the chalaza on the upper side. That is the chalaza is there. Chalaza, chalaze, whatever may be the pronunciation. So chalaza is the basic where the integuments are get arising. So here the integuments are get arising. So this is the chalaza is there, and this chalaza is exactly opposite to the funiculus and micropipe. इसके opposite sides में chalaza situated है. Okay, the chalaza. In sometimes what happen when the pollen tubes are present or coming towards the female gametophyte. पोलन ट्यूब जब स्टाइल से ओवरी की तरफ आते हैं, sometimes they enters from the integuments. So it is the one of the site for the entry of pollen tube. Sometimes they get enter from through the chalaza wall. आगे हम लोग देखेंगे एंट्री किस तरह से होती है. But pollen tube, always remember 70% of the angiosperm, the pollen tube enter via the micropipe end. तो बेसिक ओपनिंग क्या है, बेसिक एंट्री कहां से होती है, थ्रू द माइक्रोपाइप एंड. बट समटाइम chalaza and integuments are the site or door for the entry of the pollen tube towards the ovules. So this is the chalaza one. Next to the chalaza, next is the micropipe. A common door happen or occurs when two integuments are present at this side with the chalaza at the opposite side. दो integuments irregularly or uniformly क्या हो रहे हैं, यहाँ पे ununiformly arrange हो रहे हैं, and they are forming one opening. That opening is called as a micropipe. As you can observe in the diagram, this is the opening near to the egg cell. This is called as a micropipe. This opening forms due to the ununiform arrangement of the outer and inner integuments. That is called as a micropipe. What is the function of micropipe? It helps in the entry of the pollen tube towards from the micropipe. It helps in the opening of the integuments. So this is the main function of the micropipe. The next to the micropipe, the inner portion is called as the nucellus. Nucellus contain the diploid kind of a cells. You can observe the nucellus over here. The nucellus diploid kind of a cells is there, and it surrounds the main embryo sac. Diploid cells are get observed which are compactly arranged. And inside this nucellus, the embryo sac will get developed. Inside this nucellus, the embryo sac will get developed. And these nucellus cells, which are the diploid cells are there, these diploid cells contain the sporogenous cells. हम लोगों ने मेल गैमेटोफाइट में देखा था, sporogenous cells get converted into the latter they get converted in the male gametophyte. Male gametophyte में convert हो रहे हैं. Here also the sporogenous cells are present, which are present inside the nucellus, and these are the diploid cells. These sporogenous cells later they get converted into the megaspore mother cells. Megaspore mother cells. That is the MMC. We have seen this terminology in the male reproductive system, where MMC is the microspore mother cells. Here the MMC is the megaspore mother cells. So here the nucellus cells get developed into the sporogenous cells, and these sporogenous cells are converted into the megaspore mother cells. Later we will discuss how these megaspore mother cells get developed into the female gametophyte. Okay. Next to the nucellus one. Next to the nucellus is the embryo sac. Let us discuss what are the contents of the embryo sac. So the next is the nucellus one. Nucellus is containing the diploid cells. That diploid cells is going to be converted into sporogenous cells, and that sporogenous cells now going to be converted into megaspore mother cells, that is the MMC. Sometimes the ovule contain the more amount of nucellus. That kind of ovule is called as a crassinucellate kind of a ovule. Crassinucellate kind of a ovule where the more amount of nucellus is present. Later this nucellus after the development get converting into the X-sperminous seeds. Later we will discuss about the seeds type and this one. And here sometimes the nucellus is in a very less amount. But remember, the nucellus is gradually utilized by the embryo sac for its development. Most of the angiosperm does not contain the nucellus after the development. But if some less amount of nucellus are remain inside the inside the ovule, that kind of ovule is called as a tunicate kind of nucellate. Tunicate nucellate where the less amount of nucellus is present. Remember, no nucellus is present after the development because the whole embryo sac will utilize it for its development. But here if less is present, that is called as a tunicated nucellate. If the more is present, that is called as a crassinucellate. Next this one is the embryo sac. Embryo sac is called as a female gametophyte. Female gametophyte. It is a female gametophyte. What is the content of this embryo sac? This embryo sac is the oval or it is the oval in shape and it is a colorless in nature in most of the angiosperm. This embryo sac, which is called as a female gametophyte, contain the 7 cells. 3 cells at the chalazal end. Observe over this one. These 3 cells are called as the antipodal cells. Observe antipodal cells. That is the 3 cells at the chalazal end. That is the C end. Chalazal end. Consider the C means the chalaza. The next. Here the 2 cells are get fused and forming the only one bigger cell which is having the 2 nucleus called as a secondary nucleus. Secondary nucleus. And here the 3 cells, one is the bigger one which is called as an egg cell. Egg cell. Observe in the diagram. Also over here egg cell, and 2 small flank cells are called as a synergids. So this is at the micropylar end. This one is the M. Micropylar end. This is the C. Chalazal end. So chalazal end पे 3 cells यहाँ पे है antipodal cells. Micropylar end पे 3 cells हैं. One of them is the bigger one called as the egg cell, and the 2 synergids are present. All these are the haploid in nature except the secondary nucleus which is the diploid in nature. And here the egg cell and the 2 synergids help. This is nothing but called as a egg apparatus. इसी को हम लोग बोलते हैं egg apparatus. So this egg cell is flanked by 2 synergids which is called as a filiform kind of apparatus which help in a fertilization. This egg cell फर्टिलाइजेशन में हेल्प करेगा. एक मेल गैमेट एक एग सेल के साथ फ्यूज हो जाएगा. नेक्स्ट मेल गैमेट फ्यूजेस विद द सेकेंडरी न्यूक्लियस. लेटर वी विल डिस्कस. जस्ट रिमेंबर द ईच एंड एवरी पार्ट एंड देयर फंक्शन. सो इट हेल्प्स इन अ डबल फर्टिलाइजेशन. फर्टिलाइजेशन जहां पे मेल और फीमेल गैमेट फ्यूज हो रहे हैं, एक मेल गैमेट दूसरे एग के साथ फ्यूज हो रहा है जाइगोट बनने के लिए. बट एक्स्ट्रा सेल इज देयर, सेकेंडरी न्यूक्लियस जो कि दूसरे मेल गैमेट के साथ फ्यूज हो जाएगा. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज अ डबल फर्टिलाइजेशन. सो इट हेल्प्स इन अ डबल फर्टिलाइजेशन. जस्ट रिमेंबर अप टू ओवर हियर. नेक्स्ट एग सेल और 2 सिनर्जिड्स. एग सेल के पास 2 साइड में सेल है विच हेल्प इन अ फर्टिलाइजेशन एंड 3 एंटीपोडल सेल्स. These 3 antipodal cells are present at the chalaza end. they help in a fertilization. So they help in a fertilization. During the fertilization, they need energy, and this energy is dragged by the 3 antipodal cells. Antipodal cells help करते हैं energy dragging में, fertilization में. Secondary nucleus double fertilization में second male gamete के साथ fertilize करेंगे. Next egg cell first male gamete के साथ fertilize करेंगे और zygote बनाएंगे. Secondary nucleus जब male gamete के साथ fertilize करते हैं, ये endosperm बनाते हैं. That is the nutritive tissue जो कि developing embryo को help करेगा. और ये सिर्फ होगा in the angiosperm. And next, these two synergids helps in that is the fusion of egg cell and the male gamete. First fertilization में two synergids क्या करेंगे? Help करेंगे. So this is the structure of the embryo sac. But here in this embryo sac, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 cells are there. So this one is the 7-celled. 7-celled. Okay, and here count the nucleus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have told you that the diploid cells are there. 2 set of chromosomes. So here 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is the 7-cell, 8 nucleated one. So it is called as the 7-cell, 8 nucleated kind of a Megasporangium. हमने बताया था क्या है, integumented Megasporangium is there. This is called as, it is having the 2 integuments. Again, the embryo sac is called as a 7-cell and 8 nucleated because 8 nucleus is there and 7 cell. Later in we will get later in the next lecture we are dealing with the how this 7-cell and 8 nucleated embryo sac get developed from the nucellus one. This is the female gametophyte development.